Right. Good morning, everyone. Okay, last session we were discussing financial instruments. SLFRS 9, LKS 32 earlier we were discussing. Then we started SLFRS 9. All the required summary has been given. You have written them up to measurement, right? In this standard, we need to cover impairment as well. Impairment of financial assets. Okay. Before that, we should discuss recognition and measurement. So there are a couple of questions to be done, right? I think question number 1 completed. So we'll do question number 2 and question number 3, right? Recognition we discuss the recognition financial assets and financial liabilities. Then classification, there are 3 classifications basically related to financial assets. What are the classifications? Financial asset classified to 3. What are the 3? Amortized cost, payable through OCI, payable through PL. Right? Last choice is payable through PL. First, we need to see whether we can classify financial asset under amortized cost or payable through OCI. Payable through P&L is balancing part. That's how standard has defined. Right? Okay, amortized cost payable through OCI, payable through P&L. This classification, particularly first two, amortized cost and payable through OCI, differentiated based on what? Business model and contractual cash flow characteristics. Business model. Basically, there are 2 things: invest, hold. Next one, invest, hold, and sell. Right? The selling part is the new thing. Then, the next one. Contractual cash flow characteristics. Contractual cash flow characteristic, there should be interest and capital outstanding. Right? If you want to classify financial asset under amortized cost, what are the criteria to be satisfied? Business model should be invest and hold. Contractual cash flow characteristics, interest and capital outstanding should be there. Those criteria should be met in order to classify something under amortized cost. Okay. These are the classifications. The amortized cost. Payable to OCI, new thing is invest, hold, and business model is the difference. Invest, hold, and sell. Payable through OCI. Payable through P&L is if let's say financial asset cannot be classified under amortized cost or payable through OCI. Definitely that should be classified under payable through P&L. The financial asset shall be measured at payable through P&L unless it is measured at amortized cost or payable through OCI. Practice question number 1. Question number 2. We do that. Question number 3. We do this. Practice question number 3. Practice question number 3. Company issued 6% loan notes with a nominal value of 200,000. They are issued at 5% discount and 1,700 issued costs are incurred. The loan notes will be repayable at a premium of 10% after 4 years. The effective interest rate is 10%. The record, what amount will be shown in the statement of profit or loss? The statement of financial position, years 1 to 4. Duration is 4 years. Duration is 4 years. Duration is 4 years. Give you a couple of minutes. It is financial asset or financial liability? Huh? Liability, financial liability. Company issues 6% loan notes. What is the classification? Financial liability, what is the classification? There are two classifications. Amortized cost and fair value to P&L. Those are the two classifications. So what is the most appropriate classification for that? Amortized cost, yes. Amortized cost. Interest, capital outstanding is there. Okay. Business model also, they have provided, they have issued a loan, for a specific time period. Right? What is the initial measurement of amortized cost? Initial measurement, where transaction cost, financial liabilities, exact. Then subsequent measurement, amortized cost. Interest expense should charge to P&L. Interest expense should recognize at effective interest rate, EIR. Okay, shall we discuss the answers? Can I see your answers? Can I see your answers? Okay. Initial measurement should be at fair value. So what is the fair value of that financial liability? Nominal value is 200,000. That is issued at 5% discount. What is the amount that is entity collected? 190. That is the fair value. That is the fair value. Discount has been given 5%. 190,000. What is the double rate for that? Cash debit, financial liability credit. Cash debit, financial liability credit. Okay. Then 1,700. 1,700. 1,700. Right. We'll answer for this question. You have to have financial liability account. Financial liability. This is loan notes, right? Loan notes. Initial value. We received 190,000. Cash debit, financial liability credit. Then transaction cost 1,700. Double entry. Financial liability itself. Cash credit. Financial liability debit. Cash. Right? Shall we prepare amortization schedule for this one as well? So we'll take another page. We take another page. Organization schedule. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Opening balance. Opening capital. Then interest. Then interest expense. Then interest paid. Interest expense, interest paid, closing balance. Closing balance. Right. What is the net cash flow that entity received? What is the net cash flow entity received? Interest rate should be applied to net cash flow. What is the amount that they have collected? 190,000 collected. Then how about they have paid 1,700. So what is the net cash flow? 188,300. That is the opening balance. 188,300. The effective interest rate 10%. Effective interest rate 10%. You should apply this 10% to net cash flow, right? That is reflected in the accounts book. Difference between these two, 188,300. The amortization schedule, you should take that amount. Then, what is the amount that we should pay as per the agreement? What is the amount that we should pay as per the agreement? 12,000. Because 200,000 is the nominal value. And each year we should pay 6%. That is the agreement. Right? 6% can 12,000. Okay. Right. Before that, tell me the interest for the first year. 18,830. So 12,000 in the interest. 200,000 into 6%. Now we can go to our account. Interest expense. Interest expense. Interest expense. Can you please tell me double N for the interest expense? Interest expense. When expense increases, debit or credit? There. 18,830. Where to credit? Financial liability credit. Here financial liability, here interest. Right? Then amount.
Screen is not shared. Screen is not shared.
Okay. Yeah. Interest expense debit 18,800. Financial liability credit 18,800. Amount that we are paying 12,000 double entry. Cash credit, financial liability debit. So what is the balance at the end of the first year? Balance carried forward, balance brought forward. Yes. Here. 109,000, 195,000, 130, 130. 195,000, 130. We can continue for another 3 years. This should be charged to P&L, P&L debit, interest expense credit. Right. At the same time, we can go to amortization schedule. Amortization schedule is prepared for your understanding purpose. This same thing is reflected from both. From here, now this one would be added to financial liability. So this should be deducted. So what is the answer here? 195,000, 130, 130, 195,000, 130, right? The same amount will be taken here. First year closing balance is the next year opening. So 195,000, 130. What is the interest expense for the second year? What is the interest expense for the second year? 19,530. We are paying 12,000. So what is the closing balance? Closing balance. Yeah. What is the closing balance? 202.
649.
202,643. We'll take the same figure to next year beginning. 202,643. 643. What is the interest for the third year? 20,264. We are paying 12,000. Closing balance. Closing balance.
110.
210,
907.
907. 907. 210, 907. 210, 907. Interest is 21,091. We are paying 12,000 plus. We are paying 12,000 plus. This is the last year. How much that we should settle? How much that we should settle? 200,000. Did you read the question? Loan notes will be repayable. Loan notes will be repayable at a premium of 10% after 4 years. Premium of 10%. Nominal value 200,000. Premium of 10% get 20,000 20 220,000 should be settled. Right? That is the cash outflow. Zero. Zero. Rupiah දෙකක් වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන් rounding up errors, but theoretically that is zero. $220,000, right? Yes, zero. Zero, right? This is the amortization schedule. Remember, these calculations purely based on time value of money. Present value and future value. Present value and future value. Right? Okay. That's what I have explained in the beginning. Right. Tell me figures. Second year interest expense is 19,513. 19,513. Interest. Cash, we are paying 12,000. Balance carried forward. 202,000, 600. $202,600. 43. Balance brought forward. This should be charged to P&L. Then interest for the third year, 202,064. Sorry, 20,264. Should be charged to P&L. Cash, 12,000. Balance carried forward. How much? 210,000. 964. 907. Balance brought forward. Then interest. Interest 21,090. 21,093. 21,093. 21,093. Financial liability interest. Then we are paying cash. First, we will be paying 12,000 as interest. Then again, we are paying 220,000. in the balance sheet. The Laksha is the balance sheet on it. But is the this is the answer for practice question number 3. You answered on amortized cost method for financial liability. Right? So you should identify the cash flows. You should identify the initial measurement, subsequent measurement, right? What you need to do is you need to comply with the standard, right? Okay. Answer for this. Take down. Can I move? Yeah. Next topic, impairment of financial asset. 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 Right. Generally, what is the related stand for impairment of other assets? LKA 36 impairment, right? But financial asset should be impaired based on which standard? SLFRS. When you learn LK 36, I hope you can remember there was elimination from the scope. There was elimination from the scope. Financial asset would be impaired based on SLFRS. Right? There are unique features in financial asset. Therefore, impairment is done based on SLFRS. What are the assets that we should impair? What are the assets that we should impair? What are the finance? Now, there are 3 types of physical impairment. What are the financial assets that we should impair? Kitala kiyan බලන්න. කියන මොන category තියෙනවද impair කරන්න? Impair when as per SLFRS 9. Use your brain and tell. So there are 3 classifications. 3. මොනවද? Impairment කරන්න. Amortized cost. Financial assets. Financial assets. Categorize and amortize. Categorize and amortize cost. Subject to impairment. What else? Payable through OCI. Is that subject to impairment? Then, payable ගන්න සාර. හැමතිස්සෙම ඒක හරි fair value තමයි. එතන duty point එකක් තියෙනවා. Let's say we classify fixed deposit. We classified fixed deposit as fair value through OCI. Right? Because we cannot keep until the maturity. So we are going to withdraw in between. So we classify this financial asset under fair value through OCI. Not amortized cost. Is this subject to impairment? Is this subject to impairment? Yes or no? Yes. This is subject to impairment. Itanoya Megadana ETA Editing a trust investment. Now that company is bankrupt. No more. So we need to see. We classify අපේ intention එක අපි withdraw කරන නිසා fair value එකට ගන්නවා තමයි. හරි. fair value එකට ගන්නවා තමයි අපි. හැබැයි impairment එකක් ඉවරුනායි පස්සේ. සාත් මෙතෙන්ට එනවා මොකක්ද? හරි. fair value through OCI. But both business model and contractual cash flow characteristics should be complied. The maker may dekku tiyinawada me FD වගේවට මේ dekku tiyinawada නැද්ද? Yes. Share investment එකක්. Share investment. Contractual cash flow characteristics not there. So therefore that is not subject to impairment. Because anyway we will be taking fair value at the end of the period. The උදයට මාරු වෙන එක කියන්නේ එක්ක plus එක්ක minus. No need to do the impairment. But financial assets classified under amortized cost as well as financial assets classified under fair value through OCI, but both business model and contractual cash flow characteristics should be satisfied for the impairment test. Did you understand? Ready? Okay. So what are the assets which are not subject to impairment? What are the financial assets which are not subject to impairment? What are the assets not subject to impairment? Financial assets classified under fair value through OCI. Fair value through OCI, but when they come separate නැති එක. Both business model and contractual cash flow characteristics. Okay, you can write example: share investment, share investment, share investment. Then next one, financial asset, fair value through P&L. Financial asset, fair value through P&L, not subject to impairment. Not subject to impairment. Right? Reason is at the end of the period we are getting fair value. We are getting fair value. The subsequent measurement also fair value. Then make a while පැහැදිලි කරලා. The amortized cost ගියාම fair value ගන්න නැහැ. Based on the initial agreement we are calculating amortized cost. But the real value would be lesser than that. And if the recoverable value is lesser than that, we will be recording, we will be adjusting for the impairment cost. So මේකත් ඒ වගේ තමයි. හැබැයි ඒක crucial මේ business model එකේ මේ දෙකම තියෙනවා. මේ උදාහරණයක් FD වගේ. Debenture investment වෙන්න පුළුවන්. FD වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? If we are trying to withdraw in between, we cannot keep till maturity. Today, pair through OCA and start here. Start here. Right, okay. Now, impairment. Impairment. Basically, there are two approaches. There are two approaches. General approach, then simplified approach. General approach, simplified approach. General approach, simplified approach. General approach, there are three stages. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Stage 3. Right, I will explain one by one. We'll explain one by one. Right. Before general approach, we'll discuss simplified approach. Simplified approach is relevant for which type of assets? Simplified approach is applicable for which type of assets? Accounts receivables, very good. Accounts receivables. Can I get you? Accounts receivables. Then lease receivables. Contract assets. Contract assets. These are the assets that we will be considering simplified approach for impairment. Right? In this case, we will be considering which there is an estimation. There is an estimation that is called lifetime expected credit loss. As per the agreement, we will be getting something in future, right? But actually, we could not be receiving that. So we have to have estimation. We have to have estimation for the future periods, and that is called lifetime expected credit loss. That if there is a shortfall, we need to get the present value of it. So that is called lifetime expected credit loss. For the time being, I would write here. Here we will be considering lifetime expected credit loss. Write down that word, lifetime expected credit loss. Lifetime expected credit loss. Lifetime expected credit loss. Right? Can you remember debtors aging? Debtors aging. In this case, crucial one is accounts receivable. Accounts receivable. Accounts receivable. There is a probability of default. Probability of PD rate. Probability of default rate. So that is an estimation rate as per the historical information. This probability of default will be determined based on the baskets, aging baskets, 0 to 30 days, not overdue. Right? 30 days given. 30 days are given to our debtors. They are not overdue. Let's say 10 million balance. 10 million balance. 31 to 60 days, another 5 million available. 61 to 90 days, another 3 million available. 91, more than 91, another 2 million available, right? Probability of default here 1%, because comparatively default rate would be lesser. Then 10%, 20%, or 30, let's say 30%. Probability of default here 100%. That can be changed based on the organization, right? Then there is another one, loss given rate, LGR, loss given rate. That is this is a probability of default is predetermined rate. This one also predetermined rate. Let's say 5% is the loss given rate. 5% is the loss given rate. Then you should calculate what is the provision rate that you should use to calculate the provision. Right? You cannot apply this rate. Yes, loss given rate should be applied to this 1% into 5%, 10% into 5%, 30% into 5%, 100% into 5%. Then based on that percentage, you can calculate provision for this. This is called simplified approach. Therefore, this is called simplified approach. Simplified approach. This particular discussion based on collective impairment or individual impairment. This is collective impairment. Collective impairment here. Collective impairment. Sometimes you know the specific data. He or she bankrupted, that company is bankrupted. Then you would decide the percentage to be impaired. That impairment is called what? Individual impairment. Individual impairment. Individual impairment. Individual impairment.
Then we have
Okay. Impairment of financial assets. This is what I have explained. Entities have recognized loss allowance for expected credit losses on financial assets at amortized cost. Financial assets are fair value through OCI, meeting both business model and contractual cash flow arrangements or characteristics. Right? Lease receivables, contract assets, and trade receivables I have highlighted in another color. Why? These three are applicable on simplified approach. Right? These two things on general approach. Right? General approach. Lifetime expected credit losses. Read. Lifetime expected credit losses. Lifetime expected credit loss, an estimated amount of credit losses that an entity expects to incur over the entire life of particular loan or portfolio of loans. We should consider entire time period. The calculation of lifetime credit loss involves estimating probability of default. PB, probability of default, for each loan or portfolio loans as well as loan given default, LGD. And exposure at default, exposure of default. Now, there can be, there are other factors as well, risks and all. So exposure default also sometimes can be given. These factors are used to estimate the expected credit losses over the life of the loan or portfolio. Okay. Ultimately, we would be finding one rate that should be applied to calculate the impairment. Once you calculate the impairment, what would be the double entry? Let's say debtors, we have 15 million debtors. Then we should calculate like this based on the baskets. And ultimately, you would receive 2 million provision, double entry. Impairment loss debit, provision for impairment loss debit. Ada mana yang kerana kita pakai kan? Nama tahu yang beres. Tetapi kita boleh naya ada mana yang then financial instruments and debtors can. Debtors means financial instruments, financial asset. So impairment should be done based on financial instrument standard. Moving on, lifetime expected credit losses continuation. In other words, present value of expected credit shortfalls. I used that word earlier. Expected shortfalls. Credit shortfalls is the difference between the cash flows that are due to the entity in accordance with the contract and the cash flows that the entity expects to receive. Expect to, as per the contract, what is the amount to be received? And what is the real or the, because of deviations, we are getting something, we will be getting something, take the difference and present value. Okay, sure. Present value of expected value shortfalls. Shortfalls means what? Difference between cash flows that are due to the entity in accordance with the contract and the cash flows that the entity expects to receive. Did you understand? Impairment, general approach, simplified approach. Level make user in the this is also simplified approach. Simplified. Simplified approach. Probability of default is given here. Nayana PLC is applying SLFRS 9 financial instruments with regard to its financial statements for the year ended 31st March 2023. The following information is related to the collective impairment of its trade debtors. The company follows simplified approach as per SLFRS 9 financial instruments in determining impairment provision. The trade debtor aging is given in a table below. The trade debtor aging is given. Debtor aging. If you are working as finance manager or accountant, sometimes you would be handling debtors. So debtors will be classified like this. Okay. Debtor aging. Current, not past due. 1 to 30 past due. Now here, even past due, right? Current, there is no passing. Let's say that 10 days given, 15 days given. During that period, 160 million. Past due, 1 to 30 days. Past due, 1 to 30 days. 61 to 31 to 60, 61 to 90, over 90. Right? Probability of default also given. Neither PLC estimates its default rate in the provision matrix as product of probability of default and loss given default of 5% for the respective debtor age bucket. Loss given rate, now you need to multiply loss, make a radical. However, compare main case, 100% loss given default, generally 5%. 100% loss given default for debtor of 2 million. And yeah, අපේ රට වගේ කවුරුහරි වෙන්නේ bankrupt. 100% loss given default. And China එහෙම අපේ රට හිතන්නේ China has given billions of dollars as loans. Billions of dollars. So අපේ රට loan provision එක දාලා තිබුණේ නැද්ද? 100% loss given default for debtor of 2 million including over 9 when method in all method in all. 50 million is the දෙක තියෙනවා. එතකොට common provision එක කරන්න ඕන 48. Right 48. හරි 2 million ගලවලා ඒක මොකද ඒක කියන්නේ? Individual impairment. අනිත් ඒවා collective impairment. මොකද කියන්නේ? Collective impairment and individual impairment. 2 million related to individual impairment. Calculate the impairment provision of Nayana PLC in relation to trade debtors as at 31st March 2023. take a picture of this. Take a picture because I will be changing from here to my whiteboard. Take a picture and keep. Alright. 0 to 30, fasting, 31 to 60, 61 to 90, over 90. Probability of default and known given default 5%. 5%. Actual percentage 8 point. Can anyone tell me? A percentage is the dealer in 8.53. 8.53%. 15.79. 15.79. 0.23. 23. 40. 7. The rate that you should use, multiply 8.53 to 5% here. 8.53 to 5%. Point percentage again. 0.1443%. 15.79 into 5%. 0.79%. 26.23 to 5%. 1.31%. 47 into 5%. 2.35%. 100% into 5%. 5%. Right? 5%. Right? So these are the rates that you should apply. These are the rates that you should apply based on the baskets. Current 0 to 30, 31 to 60, 61 to 90, 9 is over there. Debtor balance. Debtor balance. PNP to 160 million. 90. 40. 35. 50. We'll put 50 here. Okay. Then collective impairment. Individual impairment. Total. Right. Right. Here you would be deducting 2. What is the loan loss given default 100%? So individual impairment here 2. Individual impairment 2. Then you would be applying here you have 48 million. So multiply the rate you have calculated already. Collective impairment here 116 to percentage හරියට ගන්න 0 point ගන්න තියෙන්නේ percentage එක මේ ප්‍රශ්න ලොකු ගානක් ඉන්නේ අපිට පොඩි ගානක් මේ ඵලය එකයි ෆිගර් අහන්නේ ඕඩිව් එකක් නැහැනේ චූටි ගානක් ප්‍රොවිෂන් එකක් කරන්න 0.43 නේද කිව්වේ 0.688 නේද yes 0.688 what are millions 0.688 million next one 90 million into rate together ඒක 0 point ගන්න අපේ මට මාසෙට කීයද ඒක ගන්න මිලියන් කීයද 0.711 45 into 1% ගන්න නේද 1.3 කීයද 0.5 0.59 35 into 2.35 kilo 0.8 0.82 48 එකකින් වැඩි කරන් 105ක් 2.4 take the total here 0.688 0.711 0.59 0.82 එතන එන්න පුතා 4. We're not going to get it. 4.4 to 2.4 plus the total column again. And then here, electric impairment. Electric impairment. 5.209 7.209 7.209 right that is the impairment double entry impairment loss debit provision for impairment loss credit. That is the double. 7.209. That is the total value. Bad debts is also an estimation. Bad debt is also an estimation. How did you write recoverable, bad debt received in next subsequent years? Bad debts or the debtors who written off as bad debts pay again. How did you write? What could be the accounting entry for that? අවුරුදු 5කට කලින් කපුරු ණය ගැටිය අද ලැබිලා කොහොමද ලැබුවේ? Cash debit income credit or else expense decrease. දෙකම දාන්න බැරි කම නැහැ. කවුද එහෙම දාන්නේ? Who said? All ආපසු ලැබීම. Who said? Provision එකනේ වස්තු bad debts කපපු එක. එළිම කපනවා bad debts. අපෝ අවුත් පහකින් පස්සේ ලැබෙනවා. Bad debts received again. කලරේට වල කිව්වේ ඒක කවුද කිව්ව කරන්නේ? There should be a, guidelines. How they use? What is the standard? What is the standard? 39. 39 can hedging instruments, Yeah. Self-employed framework we can do. 8. Accounting policies, changes and estimates and errors. Bad debts means what? Estimate. If we are getting a gain, that is change of estimate, that should be adjusted prospective. ලැබෙන දවසින ඉස්සරහට වෙනස් වෙන දවස ඉස්සරහට prospect ඒක නිසා තමයි මේ අවුරුදු P&L එකට දාන්නේ. Right? If there is a policy change, that should be adjusted retrospectively. තේරුණා? ඒව මේ standards අනුව කරන්නේ. Standards අනුව කරන්නේ. ඕනෝනේ කරන්න බෑ. ඒක interpretation තමයි, matter of interpretation. Law වලත් ඒකනේ law එක interpret කරන විදිහ. කියන්නේ දෙකනේ ඒක නිසානේ professionals law න. argue කරලා interpret කරලා මේව කරනවා. interpretation කියන එක හරි වැදගත්. ඒකට අපිට skill එක develop වෙන්න ඕනේ. උදාහරණයක් අනුව in our country මේ පුංචිලා අපේ දරුවන්ට education දෙන්නේ කොහොමද? 1 එකතු කරන්න 3යි කියනවා. 5යි 10යි කියනවා. ඔත් වෙන රටවල education සමාන 10 හැදෙන අවස්ථා කියන්නේ. එකද දෙකද කා? අපේ ටීචර්ලා ලියන 1යි එකට එකතු කරනවා 2යි. දරුවෝ උත්තර ලියනවා 2 කියලා. හරි. වෙන රටවල education සමානට 10 හැදෙන අවස්ථා ලියන්න. 10 හැදෙන්න තියෙන ඉතින් ළමයා ළමයෙන් මොකද improve වෙන්නේ? අපේ රටේ memorize. Education කියන්නේ ඒ කියන්නේ කොල්ලයි බල්ලයි හැමෝම උගන්වන්න ගියාම මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඒ කියන්නේ කුංචි කාලේ නම් ඒ කියන්නේ පොඩි කාලේ තමයි වැදගත්ම නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ pre education. Montessori. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒ කාලේ ළමයිගේ growing age එක crucial නැද්ද? මාර crucial. ඉන්නේ හදා ගන්නවා අපේ රටේ සම්පත්. ඒක ඇවිල්ලා හොඳ ට්‍රේන් වෙච්ච මිනිස්සු තමයි උගන්වන්නේ. දැන් මොකක්ද කියලා රස්සාව බලලා බැරිම දන මොටිසෝරි කෝස් එකක් කරනවා. කෝස් එකක් කරලා පොඩි මාස්ටර් නක් කෝස් එකක් කරලා පුංචි ළමයිගේ අනාගතය හදන්න. ඒ වගේ තමයි ප්‍රයිමරි ස්කූල්. එතන දෙමාපියන්ට උන අකුරු ලියන්න පුළුවන් නෑ. දැන් අල්ලපු ගෙදර ළමයා අකුරු 10ක් ලියුවොත් අපිට අපේ කරා 15ක් ලියන්න ඕනේ. තාම මොන්ටිසෝරි මේ අවුරුදු 3යි. ආර ප්‍රෙෂර් එකක් දෙනවා. ඒ ටියුෂන් පන්තිත් දාන්න පස්සේ. අපේ කෙල්ලට අපේ කොල්ලට බෑ ලියන්න. දෙමාපියෝ විශ්ෙන් තේරුම් ගන්න. අපේ නිදහසේ හැදෙන්න ඕනේ. හිතන්න පුළුවන් විදිහට ඒක ඉතින් ඒ ටීචර්ස්ලට ඒ අවබෝධය තියෙනවා. එමෙ හැදිරේ ආයේ යුනිවර්සිටිස් වල එන්නේ. නිසා අධ්‍යාපනයත් එක්ක සෙල්ලම් කරන එක තමයි ප්‍රශ්න. රටක් දියුණු වෙන්න නම් ඒ අධ්‍යාපනය අතිශය වැදගත් නැහැ. human capital. දැන් ඒ කාලේ ගත්තු wrong decisions වල දේවල් තමයි අපි මේ භුක්ති විඳින්නේ. අපේ අධ්‍යාපනය විනාශ කරපු එක කෙනෙක් තමයි ප්‍රේමදාස. ලොකු කුරුකක් කියලා යන ලොකු මේ කොටසක් එයාට යනවා. මොකද එයා කරේ 1989 කාලේ රුපියල් 1000 ගුරුපත් වෙන්න කිව්වා. රුපියල් 1000. ක්වොලිෆිකේෂන්ස් නැතුව ගුරුවරු වශයෙන් පදවගෙන පාසල් පත්. 1000 පත් වීම කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ තමයි දැන් කාලේ යන පෙන්ෂන් නැති අතුනමිත නැහැ. තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ දැන් ප්‍රින්සිපල්ලා. ඒ වගේ ලෙවල් එකකින් තමයි සර්විස් එකට යනවා. තමයි පෙන්ෂන් ගිහිල්ලා ඇති. ඒතකොට ගුරුපත් ඒ ගුරුවරයාගේ තියෙන භූමිකාව සහ ගුරුවරයා කියන එක බලු කරපු එක්කෙනෙක් ඒ දේශපාලනයේ දෙත්ත ගෙනවා. විශ්වවිද්‍යාල වලට එහෙම දේශපාලඥයන් ගුරුවරු දාන්න බෑ. හරි? එහෙම දාන්න පුළුවන් නම් නාමල්ක ලිස්ට් එකේ නිකන් ඉන්න වෙනවා. ගුරුවරු එහෙම පත් කරා. දේශපාලන. එතනින් කොහොමද පාසල් පද්ධතිය වැඩිච්චේ? ඒ කියන්නේ මේ අපේ වැටෙන්නේ අවුරුදු 30ක් අටලිය කියලා දැන් පාසල් පද්ධති මොනවද ගන්නද? ඔයාලා අවශ්‍ය කියන ඔයාලා රීඩ් කරේ ටියුෂන්ස් එකේ පොත්පත්ද? ඉස්කෝලේ ගුරුවරුගේ පොත්පත්? tell me. අත ගලහන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් අත ගලහන්න. පාසලට ගිය උදේම ඇඩ්මිෂන් එක ගන්න විතරයි. grade 13 ළමයි ඉස්කෝලේ යන්නේ නැහැ. මේ ඒව දේශපාලනයක් තියෙනවා. පොලිටික්ස්. ඒකට ඒව තමයි මේ අපි දැන් විනාශ වෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මිනිස්සුන්ට හිතන්න පුළුවන් අය නෙමෙයි එන්නේ. අට පාඩම් කරන අයිලන්ඩ් ෆස්ට් උනත් එච්චර තමයි. දැක්ක ඊතරද තියෙන අයිලන්ඩ් ෆස්ට් දරුවෝ ගණන් 1000ක් එක පාඩමක් දැක්කෝ. ඒ ටියුෂන්ස් වල හදවල ගණන් 1000ක්. 1000ක් හදවල. ඉතින් වෙන මොනවක් කරන්න හම්බෙන්නේ නැහැ. 1000යි පාඩම් වලට කොච්චර ඉගෙන ගන්න කාලේ අපේ සිලබස් එකේ මාර සිලබස් එකක් තිබ්බා. ඒ කියන්නේ මම දෙසත් පහේ කරේ කාලපදනු කියලා පහවුලිය පාර අවුල් කරෝ එනවා මේ සමහර විතරක් තියෙන අපේ කාලපදනු. Partners admit in between the financial year. Sometimes profitability rate would be changed in between. අපි කාලපදනු කියලා ගණන් හදලා කාලපදනු. දැන් හවුල් කරුවෙක් එන්නේ යන්නේ අග හෝ මුල. අපේ ඉකාලේ මැද එන්න පුළුවන් මැද එකෙක් යනවා ඊට පස්සේ තාමාස් තුන පස්සේ එකෙක් යනවා. එහෙම ගණන් අපි ඊට පස්සේ මොනවද සමාගම් ගිනු කර දෙනවා අංග හිටීම විභජනය ඇරයුම සමානුපාතික විභජනය ඒ ඔක්කොම සිලබස් එකේ අයින් කරනවා. දැන් තියෙන බොහොම ස්ට්‍රේට් ෆෝවර්ඩ් accounting වල. ඒත් ලංකාවේ 130ක් fail. 30% fail. 30% A-level accounting fail. 54,000 people are writing accounting subject. 30% fail කියන ගණන් හදනකොට කීයක් fail වෙනවා. ඒතර ඒගොල්ලෝ සමාන මේ අපේ රටේ දරුවන් 54,000 වලින් 30%. යා ඉතක අම්මා තාත්තා කෙනෙක්ගේ දරුවෙක් කොල්ලෙක් කෙල්ලෙක්. කොහෙද ඒගොල්ලෝ යන්නේ? කියන්නේ විශ්වවිද්‍යාලේ යන්න ඒතුමා ගන්න කියන්නේ මේ S එකක් ගන්න බැහැ. Who should get the responsibility? If those people learn from the school teachers should be responsible. දැන් මෙතන පවුල දැන් මම නම් ස්කෝලේ ටීචර් දරුවෝ 40 maximum දානවා. Education psychology 40%. ඒ එක කියනවා කවුද වගේ කියනවා? මම වගේ කියනවා. මම වගේම ගත යුතුද නැත්නම් මගේ පන්තිට එනව නම් මගේ පාසලට ඇවිල්ලා සුන්දර විදිහට ඉගෙන ගන්නවා නම් කවුරු ෆේල් වෙයිද නැත්නම් හරියට වැඩ කරන ටීචර්ස්ලා fed up වෙලා ඉන්නේ. ටීචර්ස් ඉන්නේ කිලෝ සමානට අර ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එකකින් නෙමෙයි වැඩ කරන්නේ. රස්සාවක් හොයලා බැරි මතල තමයි ටීචින් පත් වීම. මම දරුවා ඉස්කෝලේ දරුවා දාන්න ඕන නිසා පාසල් හැබැයි ඒක වගකීම් බාර දුරේ ඒ වැඩ. නිසා මේ এডুকেෂන් කියන එක වැඩ. මේ এডুকেෂන් කියන එක හදුවොත් තමයි අවුරුදු 15කින් 20කින් මේ රටවල් දියුණු වෙන්නේ. මිනිස්සු හිතන විදිහ වෙනස් වෙන්න ඕන. ලකුණුත් තියෙන ඊටක ජනාධිපතිතුමා කියනවා there should be a change. There should be a change. Otherwise, difficult to safeguard this country. Real leadership එක දෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔය පොර තක්කඩිට නෙමෙයි. එනිසා ඒ වගේ දැන් මේවල කතා කරන වෙලාවද නැහැ. කතා කරන්නේ. Because everyone is suffering. Everyone is suffering. There is no policy to develop this country. Do you know the debt amount? $57 billion debt. 1 billion means 1,000 millions. 1 billion means 1,000 millions dollars. The dollar එක වැඩි කරන්න 300 දැන් 360යිද? 320ක් දින එක වැඩි කරන්න 320 එක LKR වල කරා. කොච්චර ණයයිද අපේ රට? හැබැයි assets එච්චර නැහැ. assets නැහැ එච්චර. ඒ කියන්නේ මේක විකුණලා හරි ණය ගෙවන්න නැහැ බංකොලො. විකුණලා ඉවරයි. සම්බන්ධ පොට් එක විකුණනවා. විකුණලා දැන් විකුණන දෙයක් නැහැ. මෙච්චර කාල ජීවුවේ හොඳයි මොනවා හරි විකුණනවා සතුටු වෙනවා. හරි. ඩොලර් ටිකක් කියනවා කොතරම්යි ජීවුවේ. Now bankrupted nation. Education is very crucial, very important for development. නිසා education විනාශ කරන්න දේශපාලඥයෝ සම්බන්ධයි. දේශපාලනීකරණය වුණොත් ඕනම තැනක ප්‍රශ්නයක් තමයි. හරි. අපි යමු ඉස්සරහට. So we answered question number 1 in impairment. Okay. Now we can go to general approach. General approach. ඒක කරලා ඉන්ටර්වල් එකක් කරනවා දැන් ඉන්ටර්වල් එකක් කරනවා. You think? Again, right, maximum 15 minutes break. Maximum 15 minutes, right? It is only the mom, when I the higher call patana. It is another mom patana. Put to another gun. Take a break now, yeah.
මේ එකයිද කියලා සාරයක් ගත්තා.
I will be uploading orders. I will be sharing with the back. Hello. 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 Sorry, me. Good morning. Answer කරලා මේ දැක්කේ නැහැ ආසෙ. අර මේ කතා පුළුවන්ද? මම ඩියුටි දෙයක් කියන්නේ මතක් කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. ඔව් ඔව්. ඊමේල් එක කාමනේ. ඔව්. නෑ හැමෝටම මෙවල තියෙන්නේ. මැඩම්ට ඔක්කොටම මෙවල තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ රිප්ලයි එක දාන්න. ඔව්. හරි. අනිත් ඔය ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකකුත් අඳ ගහගෙන මෙන්න. ඔව් ප්‍රගීත මම කෝල් කරා. ඔව් ප්‍රගීත මම කතා කරා. ඔව් ප්‍රගීත. ඔව්. අර ඔයාගේ අර පොත මට හම්බුන්නේ නැහැ හොදේ මේ කියන්නේ පොතක් හිම තිබ්බේ නැහැ. ෆයිනෑන්ෂල් ස්ටේට්මන්ට් එකේ මට මොනවා හරි ලින්ක් එකක් ආවම මම ඔයාලට මතකයි මේ රික්වෙස්ට් එක මට අංකලා දාන්න ස්ලයිඩ්ස් හරි මොනවා එහෙම ආවොත් මේ කියන්නේ පටන් ගත්තද ඒක? රයිට් හරි සේනානි කතා කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙලා වැඩක තින්නේ. විනාඩි දෙකයි මේ දැක්කනේ. ඔව් ඒක. මොකද සත්‍ය එන්න පුළුවන් වේද? මේ ඔයා යනවද මේ පේපර් යනවද චීෆ් විදියට? දැන් නැත්තම් ඒ මීටින් එක කොළඹ තියෙන්නේ 16. ඒකත් එක්ක සෙට් කරලා තමයි දැන් මේ ඔව්. ඔව් ඔව් ඔව්. ඔව් ඔව් ඔව්. හරි හරි ඒක ගැන කියන්න ආවේ. හරි. Hello, Malli. Good morning. කොහොමද වෙන්නේ? ඒගොල්ලෝ මල්ලි 12 මාර 1 විතර වෙනකොට මාඩාට කියනවා වරක් වෙයි කියලා කියනවා. නමුත් මල්ලිලා කියනද මේ යන්නේ දැන් 10 ඔව් 10 වගේ නේද? මල්ලි චුට්ටක් ඔය මේ පොඩ්ඩක් ක්ලීන් කරලා වගේ මේව කරන්න පුළුවන් නේ ඔය කොළේ ෆිසිකල් කියන්නේ හා ඔව් ඔව් දාලා මල්ලි අර මේ දැන් ඔය කාඩ්බෝඩ් වගේ තියෙන ඒවා පිටිපස්සේ තියෙනවනේ ගිනින් ගන්න තැන එතනින් දාන්න මේ ඉඳුල් වගේ තියෙන ඒවා අර පැත්තේ මුල්ලේ තියෙනවා මේ කොළ පාට බාස්කට් එකක් ඉඳුල් වලට අර ඒක දාලා මේ අර වතුර වගේ එකක් මොනවද තිබුණා මම අයින් කරලා දාන්න පූල් එක බහැලා නැහැ නේද පූල් එක අගලක් විතර බහැලාද වතුර පටකම දිනවද ඈ ඔව් අගලක් විතර ඔව් ඒක තමයි ඒක වෙන මොන චූටි ලීක් එකක් ඔය හැරි තියෙනවා ඒක තමයි මම බලවන්න ඕනේ චූටි ලීක් එකක් තියෙනවා වෙන දේ ඔක බැස්සේ නැහැ ඔක බලන්න ඩයිඩිෆයි වුණා මේ චූටි ලීක් එකක් තියෙනවා ලීක් එක කියන්නේ අර ෆුට් වෙල් එකේ පොළොන්නක් හරි ගිහිල්ලා ඒක ගලවලා කොහොමයි කරන්නේ නිදෙස් කනෙක් කියනවා මේ හරියට අවුලක් නැහැනේ මේ මල්ලි එක නම් මේව කරලා යතුරු අර ඉස්සරහ ඉඳලා අයියට දීලා යනවා ඔයා ගත්තේ යතුරු යට දීලා යන්නකො 10ට විතර අද දැන් මොනවද ශබ්ද බද්ද නැහැ නේ ෂේප් එකේ ඉන්නවනේ ඔව් ඒක තමයි අර ඒක තමයි Right. Welcome back. Now I will be discussing general approach of impact. General approach. General approach, there are 3 stages, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Now, general approach, what are the applicable assets subject to impairment? General approach. Financial assets, categorized and amortized cost. Financial assets categorized under fair value through OCI subject to both conditions, business model and the contractual cash flow characteristics. Right? Right now, we'll discuss what is stage 1. Stage 1, remember the unique feature is there is no significant deterioration of credit quality. Right now, there is no significant deterioration of credit quality. There is no significant deterioration of credit quality. There is no significant deterioration of credit quality. Let's say you have invested your money in single trust investment, right? Just imagine you invested your money in an FD in single trust investment. That is the investment. Right. Stage 1 means there is no significant deterioration of credit quality. There is no issue. There is no issue. Now you should get the interest within, the due date is 30th of each month. You should get interest for your FD, right? And they are paying on time. They are paying on time. Sometimes 1 or 2 days delay. 1 or 2 days delay. 30th of each month, you should be paid interest. You should be paid interest, but 1 or 2 days delay. Not significant. Right? Not significant, but 1 or 2 days delay. So there is no significant deterioration credit. The second stage, there is significant deterioration of credit quality. Right now, there is significant deterioration of credit quality. There is significant deterioration of credit quality. Example, 30 days overdue. Interest should receive 30th of each month, but you did not receive the interest for 30 days. 30 days overdue. For an instance. දවස් 30ක් මට ලැබෙන තියෙන 30 මාසයක් ඉතින් ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක ලැබෙයි කියලා ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ. හරිද? ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක තමයි මිලියන 5ක් දාලා දෙනවා කියලා හිතන FD එක. මිලියන 5ක් දාලා කියන FD එක. හරිද? ඒතර ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එකනේ අපිට සල්ලි ලැබෙන්න තියෙන්නේ. සල්ලිට ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක. ඒතර ඉන්ඩිකේෂන් එක මොකද? ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක තමයි බලන්නේ. ඒ වගේ එකක්. එතකොට ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක දවසක් දෙකක් delay කරලා ලැබෙනවා. ලැබෙනවනේ කොහොමද? There is no significant deterioration of credit quality. Then we are categorizing them under stage 1. If there are significant deterioration of credit quality, that is stage 2. So what do you mean by stage 3? Objective evidences are there. Right now, objective evidences are there. Objective evidences are there. When you see the newspaper in the morning, you can see ETI company has been bankrupted, disclosed bankrupted. Objective evidences are there. Stage 3. Objective evidences are there. Yeah, you saw in the newspaper. You saw in the newspaper. Bank has bankrupt. Bank has been bankrupted. Stage number 3. Stage number 3. Right? Right. Now we'll write down specific features of these 3 stages. Stage number 1. Are we going to consider lifetime expected credit loss or 12 months expected credit loss? 12 months expected credit loss, not a lifetime. But first what we are doing, first we are calculating the lifetime expected credit loss. You know what lifetime expected loss is. First we determine that. After that, 12 months probability will be applied. Right? 12 months probability will be applied. Right? 12 months expected credit loss will be taken into consideration. 12 months expected credit loss. Stage 1. 12 months expected credit loss. There is no significant deterioration in credit quality. 12 months expected credit loss will be taken into consideration. Correct. Is that the way? Loan value or receivable or the financial assets categorized under amortized cost. Let's say 10 million. Expected 100 million. Expect lifetime expected credit loss is, let's say, 10 million. Lifetime expected credit loss is 10 million, right? Then you will be given 12 months probability. 12 months probability. Then you can multiply by 12 months probability. Abhi to make a CL missai kiyala. Here 2 million. 2 million provision එකක් තමයි end on. 2 million provision එකක් තමයි end on. Did you understand? Impairment loss debit. Provision for impairment loss credit 2 million. Make a lifetime expected credit loss the 12 months expected credit loss. 12 months expected credit. So now a provision for impairment loss. Right? And that may trigger the fine. Page number 2. Page number 2. Page number 2. Now what is the net financial asset? What is the net financial asset? 98. Net financial asset is 98 because we have provided 2 million. Because of prudence concept. Other than showing entire 100 million, we provide 2 million. There is a risk. It's a risk. There is no significant deterioration of the quality, but we provide 2 million. That provision, it's an estimation. Second stage, there is significant deterioration in credit quality. Interest stage 1 bad. Money on stage 2. So you should take lifetime expected credit loss. You should take lifetime expected credit loss. You should take lifetime expected credit loss. Lifetime expected credit loss. Lifetime expected credit loss. Right. In this case, the commission is not that. Let's say you are providing under stage number 2, you should take lifetime expected credit loss. Your provision should be here. Based on my example, 10 million. Lifetime expected credit loss is 10 million. So your provision should be 10 million. Your provision should be 10 million. Right? So whether the provision should be 10 million. P&L debit, provision for impairment loss, only 10 million, right? Now we are in stage number 2. Stage number 2. Provision should be higher. Provision should be higher. Okay. That is stage number 2. Stage number 3. Then stage number 3. Then කියන පුතා මෙතන මේ net financial asset 90. Net financial asset 90. දැන් එතන කිනුම් දෙක ගන්න. ඉතින් එකේ දාගන්න. Stage number 1 එකේ දාන්න 100 million 2 million. You have taken 12 months expected credit loss. එක හදන හැටි තේරුම් ගන්න. First we calculate the lifetime expected credit loss, then multiply by the 12 months probability. Multiply by the 12 months probability. So that's how we did. Yeah, clear. Terang video. Lifetime expected credit loss is 10 million. Then multiply by 12 months probability. And that's how you get 2 million. 2 million. Then we provided 2 million, 100, that is the financial asset, then provision for impairment loss 2 million. That is under stage number 1. Now stage number 2, 100 million is the financial asset, provision for impairment loss 10 million. Lifetime එක ගන්න තුකා. හරි. ඒකෙන් කිනුම් දෙක ගහගන්න. What is the net of financial assets? Net value 90 million. 90 million. Okay? Net financial assets 90 million. We'll come to third one. Here objective evidences are there. Objective evidences are there. Objective evidences are there. The objective evidence available in the market. Then in that case also you should apply for lifetime expected credit loss. Lifetime expected, that should be estimated. Estimate the lifetime expected loss එක ගන්න ඕන. In this case, what is the lifetime expected credit loss? In my example, 10 million. 10 million. So that should be adjusted. 10 million. And I got done up 100 million, 10 million දාලා. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ බලන්න මොකක්ද difference එක කියලා නේ? What is the difference between stage 2 and stage 3? What is the difference between stage 2 and stage 3? දෙකේම නිකන් සමාන figures එකක් තියෙනවා. What is the difference between stage 2 and stage 3? Interest එක recognition මොකක්ද ඒකේ මොකක්ද කියන්නේ? එතකොට stage 3 එකේදී net එකට තමයි අර rate එක apply කරන්නේ. Right? In stage 3 you will be now. ඔයා මතකයිද rate එක apply කරන්න එපා effective interest rate එක. You should apply effective interest rate. I hope you can remember. Amortized cost හදනකොට beginning balance එකට අපි interest එක ගහුවනේ 10%, 15%. ඒක apply කරන්නේ මොන ගානද? Stage number 3 90 million, not 100 million. Right? That is the difference between stage 2 and stage 3. Stage 2, you apply the gross of provision. Stage 3, net of provision. That is the difference between stage 2 and stage 3. Clear? Clear? Okay. Now, did you understand stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3? You need to explain. You have to have skill to explain. If you are given a case study, you should assess what is the level, and you should apply the standard. Right? This level, we are expecting that. Right? Assessment. Counter assess. The auditor also would come and question what is the real. Auditor is skill now, hands up those who are in audit firms. Okay, there are people now. Let's say client has provided in stage 1. What is your audit procedure? And because client wants higher profit, accountant needs higher profit. Accountants need higher profit because profit is linked with the bonus. Linked with the bonus. Profit is bonus. The accountant, finance team, the contract managers profit the accountant audit profit and ඒවා ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයිද පුළුවන්. accounting standards වල තියෙනවා එහෙම ඒ කියන්නේ auditor ගේ වගකීම මොකක්ද? Whether those estimates are reasonable. Right? You have to have good understanding about it. Let's say they have provided something in stage 1, but that should be in stage 3. they total lifetime expected loss එකට යන්න ඕන. හරි එතන මිලියන ගණනාවක වෙනසක් එන්න පුළුවන් බැරිද? ඒක ඔයාලා දැනන් ඉන්න බෑ ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ්ස්. ඔඩිට් කරන්න. හරි. ඔඩිට් කරනවාද දැනන් ඉන්නවා. ඒ නිසා මේ ටෙක්නිකල් නොලෙජ් එක අතිශය වැදගත් ඔඩිට්. සෙල්ලම නැත වාගේ ඔඩිට් රිපෝට් මොනවත් අහුවෙන්නේ නැහැ. there is no issue කියලා ඔඩිට් රිපෝට් එකක් දෙන්න. ග්‍රවුන්ඩ් ලෙවල් එකේ වැඩ කරන කෙනානේ ඒක දැනගන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයානේ ඔඩිට් ෆර්ම් එකේ ගිහිල්ලා training supervisor project manager you are in the ground level in the audit එකට යන්නේ ඕගොල්ලෝ partner නෑ ඔඩිට් කරන්නේ senior manager නෑ ඔඩිට් කරන්නේ එයා කරන working එක තමයි review කරන්නේ right so you have big responsibility right when you do audit otherwise what would happen to stakeholders if stakeholders are taking decisions based on the financial statements that entity provides, wrong decisions are taken. Therefore, we have big responsibility. Accountants and auditors, they have big responsibility towards entire society. කරන වැඩේ අපි හරියට කරන්න ඕනේ. මේ technical knowledge, particularly technical knowledge, should be improved. Accounting is that. Accounting need to be done by complying with Sri Lanka accounting. We should go through the standards, books. We again open book, standard books. You can have standard books to go examination. Yeah. See. Well. එහෙම ඔයාලා විභාගේ ලියලා තියෙනවද සර් මේකේ? නෑ. This time we'll see open book examination or corporate level. Standard books are allowed. If free other than if free equaling C equaling තමයි දාන්නේ. හරි. They available නේ. Real applications. හොඳයි නේද ඒක? පොත බලබල ලියන්න තියෙනවා. බලබල ලියන්න. ඔයාලා හිතනවා book එකම allow කරාම හරි ෂොක් එකේ ඉඳන්නේ. Remember open book examinations are the most difficult examinations in the world. Sometimes you might be thinking book එක තියෙනවා. එතකොට මේ කොහොමද application තමයි check කරන්නේ. application. ඒ books එක තියෙන මොන අහන්නේ PP එකක් define කරන්න කියලා අහන්නේ නැහැ නේ. book එක දීලා. application එක. Right, application of the standard. So we'll see that. We'll see. First, we'll cover the syllabus. This is what I wanted to say in general approach. Right. Summarize general approach again. How many stages? I will ask questions. Right? Commandant? Commandant first time out? Right. How many stages? Stage number 1, features. There is no significant deterioration of credit quality. Another, the stage number 1. Stage number 1 is when it comes to provision, how many months? 12 months expected credit loss. How we take it? How we take that 12 months one? First, we estimate lifetime expected credit loss. Then we multiply by 12 months probability. Second stage, there is significant deterioration of credit file. Example, 30 days overdue. Bahana හිතන්නේ ඒක නෙවෙයි තාරේ වගේ තියෙන උදාහරණ හිතන්න. ඊළඟට තා කියන්නේ මේ measurement එකේ මොකද ගන්න? lifetime expected credit loss. There should be a provision equal to that. And stage 3, objective evidences are there. Then measurement, lifetime expected credit loss. Difference between those two, stage 2 and stage 3. Next, difference between stage 2 and stage 3. What are the differences? Yes. Interest rate, effective interest rate would be applied to net of provision in stage 3. Stage 3. Effective interest rate would be applied to gross of provision in stage number. That is the difference. Right. Okay, moving on. I finished. SLFS 9 done. Now we have another 20 minutes. So I will be starting SLFRS 3 business combination, consolidation. Consolidation. Okay, I will quickly summarize. I'm not going to discuss in detail about consolidation. I would be focusing more complex structures in consolidation, right? Complex structures. Then a parent acquires subsidiary, subsidiary acquires sub-subsidiary. So there are two shapes, D-shaped and vertical. Vertical and D-shape, right? So the complex structures can are all derivative. Again, associates, joint ventures also need to be included. Right. Today I will be giving you a summary of each. Right? Other complex structures karana path එක හදන්න තැන තමයි යන්නේ. You should go through all the lecture materials and come. Incorporate in the financial reporting subject. You have learned. Did you learn financial reporting subject? In fact, did you learn? Yes or no? Yes. Remember, you qualified. You qualified. Is qualified like that? Base of third year. Third year go. Fourth year. ඒක රිසර්ච් එක අනිවාර්යයෙන් කරන්න ඕනේ මොකද චාර්ට් එකේ රිසර්ච් එකක් කරන්න බැහැනේ අනිවාර්යෙන් ඒක කරන්න. දැන් මේව නම් චාර්ට් accountants ලා අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මේව ගැඹුරටම ගිහිල්ලානේ තියෙන්නේ. නේද? ඒවා අවශ්‍ය නැහැ කොහොමද? එරිලා තියෙන්නේ. නමුත් අනිත් පැත්තට ගියොත් මේකේ ඩිග්‍රී අරගන්න අයට චාර්ට් එකේ මේ කරන්න ඕන සබ්ජෙක්ට් කියලා. හතරයි. අවසාන හතර විතරයි. අවසාන හතර විතරයි. එතකොට කෝපරේට් ලෙවල් වල ඔයාලා කටු කාලේ ඉගෙන ගන්න නැහැ. ඒකත් එක්සෙප්ට්. ඒ මොකක්ද BFR එක? BFR ඒක නේද? ඔගේ අනිත් පැත්තට වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඔයාලා ඉතනවද හිතන්න සබ් එකේ ඉන්නවා. මේකේ ඕම ගිහිනවා සබ් එකේ ඩිග්‍රී හොල්ඩර්. අවසාන ස්ටේජ් එකේ සබ්ජෙක්ට් හතරට ඕන දැන් උඩින් ගිහලා වෙන්න. පුළුවන් වේද ළමයි ඉතින් පාස් වෙන්න? ඈ? මෙයා හිතලා බලන්න. ඈ? මේ බෑ කියනවා මට ලෙක්චර් එකේ ඉඳලා අමාරු නමුත් ඩිෆිකල්ට් නේ. ඒ කිසි එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එකක් නැහැ ප්‍රොෆෙෂනල් එක්සෑම් වල ලියලා. ඒක ඇත්තටම අපි කියන්නේ බෑ වනේ. කියන්න ඕන ළමයි පැරලි කරන්න කියලා. චාර්ට් ඇකවුන්ටන්ට් කෙනෙක් වෙන එක සීනියර් තමයි. චාර්ට් ඇකවුන්ටන්ට් මේකේ ඩිග්‍රී දෙන එක කිසි කෙනෙකුට දැන් රිසර්ච් එක කරන්න ඕන. අර ඒක හම්බ වෙච්ච නැති සබ්ජෙක්ට් එක කරන්න තිබුණා නැති. මොකද ඒක මෙහෙමනේ මේකේ උගන්වන්නේ කවුද? මම උගන්වනවා මම පේපර් එක ගන්න මම පාස් කරනවා. අර තාන්ත දෙකේ බෑ. සම්බන්ධ වෙන්නේ නැති යන පේපර් එක සිලබස් එක. ඒ ඉලෙවල් විභාගය වගේ තමයි. උගන්වන අය පේපර් සෙට් කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ සිලබස් එක ඉවර වෙන්න එපා කොහොමද? මාස 6ක් කටු කාලනේ එළචුරා දිගින්ද කටු කාලා උගන්වනවා. ඒ උගන්වන විභාගෙට නෙමෙයි. ආරල කවුන්ටර් එකෙන් බී. විභාගෙට එන්න පුළුවන් නොවෙන්න පුළුවන්. ප්‍රශ්නයක්. It's because of profession. Technical knowledge එකයි වැදගත්. දෙක තේරුණාද වෙනස? For you there is no issue because you are doing art and parallel. Then your value definitely increase. I am not criticizing the degree. Degree and the professional qualification two different things. Two different. That's what I am emphasizing. Ultimately, your quality, your value will be reflected. දෙකෙන්ම හොඳ දෙකෙන් ඉන්නේ flavors දෙකක්ද නැද්ද? දෙකෙන් ඉන්නේ flavors දෙකක්. ඔයාලා ඒකට real accountant, real financial professional කෙනෙක් තමයි ඔයාලා වෙන්නේ. එච්චරයි. දැන් මේ cases skill මේවට දාලා analyze කරලා interpret කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන skill එකක් develop වෙනවා. Right, okay. SLFRS business combination එක පටන් ගන්න කලින් console පටන් ගමු. Consolidation. Right. I will start with this. You know this example, people who learned from me earlier. Where about it? Huh? Where about it? Sarah. Where about it? Huh? Ranjani. Right? Sarat and Ranjani, they have an affair. Based on Sri Lankan culture, they say they want to live together. Before living together, what they should do in Sri Lankan culture? They should marry. Yes, they should marry before living together. Sarat PLC, Ranjani PLC. Sarat PLC wanted to acquire Ranjani PLC. Right? Okay. Before preparing consolidated financial statement, console, as per SLFRS 10, what is the first step? Before preparing consolidated financial statements, we should Bandhan Mogin. SLFRS 3 business combination. SLFRS 3 business combination. That's combination. This is like marriage. This is like it was say then the value when පස්සේ තමයි එකට ඉන්නේ. හරි ඒක තමයි මොකද SLFRS 10 business consolidated financial statement. Right? Okay. Tarak acquired 100% of Ranjani. Tarak acquired 100% of Ranjani. Tarak can acquire 80% of Ranjani. Tarak can acquire 49% of Ranjani. Tarak can acquire 40% of Ranjani. Tarak can acquire 25% of Ranjani. Tarak can acquire 10% of Ranjani. Right. Okay. This one. Can Sarak control Ranjani? 100% no. Can. Sarak could acquire Ranjani's. Ranjani මොකක්ද Sarak අත්පත් කරගන්න? Net asset. Net asset. In other words, equity. Right? Sarak acquire Ranjani's net asset. Right? Here, 100% acquisition. Here, who will, in this scenario, Sarak acquire 80% of Ranjani's equity. Who will control? Sarak will control Ranjani. Now, what about this 20%? NCI, that is called NCI. Make a move here. 49%. Can Sarak control Ranjani with 49%? It depends. That's the expected answer. It depends. You cannot say no. It depends. Right? If there is a mutual agreement with other 41%, sorry, 51%, Sarak can control Ranjani. If there is no issue with the decisions, let's say Sarak wanted to take a decision and a couple of people who are in the board support to Sarak, then Sarak can control Ranjani. So these three scenarios, what are the related standards? The common term is control. Control. මේ තුනේම control කියන එක තියෙනවා. Control. Control එක කියනකොට මොකද අදාළ වෙන්නේ? මුලින් මොකද කරන්නේ? මම දන්නවා. SLFRS 3, then SLFRS 10, then LKAS 27 separate financial statements. Sarak and Ranjani, two separate organizations. Right? Sarak should prepare financial statements, Ranjani should prepare financial statements. Right? Those are called separate financial statements. There is a standard, LKAS 27. Right. How about this? Sarak acquired 40% of Ranjani. 40. Then go again. Then Sarak ගන්නවා 40%. Sunil ගන්නවා තව 40%. දෙන්නේ කියනවා 40-40. Then go again. Sarak 40, Sunil 40. Ranjani අත්පත් කරගෙන ඉන්නේ එහෙමයි. Can Sarak control Ranjani? එන මොකද? Sarakui Sunilui දෙන්නම Ranjaniව අත්පත් කරනවා. 40-40. Either party does not have majority. මොකද කරන්නේ? Jointly කරනවා. Jointly කරනවා. ඒ වගේ අවස්ථාවල joint කරනවා. I think the word joint control. But Prometheus, SLFRS labor. This standard के नाम होता है joint arrangements के लिए. Joint arrangements SLFRS labor. Correct? So joint arrangements consist of two things: joint operations and joint ventures. Joint operation and joint venture. S acquired or Sarat acquired 25% of Ranchani. 75% with other party. Only 25% acquired by Ranchani. Okay, ये वाली investment है क्या? Associate agreement मुकाक पता significant influence. देखा लिया significant influence. If there is a significant influence, if there is a significant influence, there is an associate. LKS 28. LKS 28. Hari? LKS 28. Then this is Ranjani's board. Where Ranjani ke board meeting. Main Ranjani. In our members la 14. Altogether 5 members in the board. Right? Now 25% acquired by 25% acquired by Tara. Let's say there is no position in the board. Tara board ke position ekak nahi. Board member කෙනෙක් නෙමෙයි Sarat. Can Sarat influence Ranjani? Can associate එකක් වෙන්න බෑනේ. කියන board එකේ ඉන්න බෑ. Board එකේ නැතුව associate එකක් වෙන්න බැරිද? Sarat acquired 25% of Ranjani. That is Ranjani's board. Ranjani is in the Ranjani is our board members after the team. Again. If the Sarat board can Sarat influence? Influence can better significant influence and Nathan associated made it. Is that your conclusion? Is that your conclusion? Can Sarat influence Ranjani's operations even he is not in the board? Is not in the board. No. Ranjani के business के संपूर्ण raw material supply करने Sarat के वो क्या Sarat මොනවා හරි බලපෑමක් ආව Sarat stock කරනවා supply Ranjani ඉවරයි නේද? Sarat manage all information technology stuff in Ranjani's business. But Sarat is not in the board. Can Sarat influence Ranjani? Okay. Main Sarat ke liye then एक पास होते हालिया. Main Sarat. Sarat chance है दिल वो दे देना Ranjani. Then I can look right there is significant influence. Sarat did not there. Is there significant influence? Then better majority का मेरे को मैं आज किया थे तो मेरे को decision करना बुलवाना पड़े थे. Sarat तो यानी तू नहीं तो मेरा decision करना Sarat even not informed. Sarat financial statement या किना एक ही दिला. Ranjani की business से. Again, सब तो पहाड़ का ना करने सारा. Significant influence भी ना होते. नहीं, मेरा associate करते. That is just an investment for सारा. Associate करते. तो वो board की इतिहास का ही ना था कि significant influence के बेटा था. Did you understand? Okay. So that associate. LKS 28. 10%? 10%? 10%? This is just financial asset. LKAS 32, SLFRS 9. SLFRS 9. Right? In console level just an investment. Just an investment. So we recognize as investment. There is another standard. All these things, all these scenarios, there is another standard. Make a but standard. All these things are connected with other entities. Parent, subsidiary, sub-subsidiary, associate, joint venture, likewise. There are other entities. You are able to know disclosures for other SLFRS 12. SLFRS 12. Disclosures for other entities. Disclosures for other entities, right? Disclosures for other entities. Are you there? Disclosures for other entities. Right. So next day, I will be touching SLFRS 3 and SLFRS 10. Please go through and come. Yeah, මම කොච්චර ගැඹුරට කොම්ප්ලෙක්ස් විදියට යනවද කියන එක තීරණය කරන ඔයාලගේ ලෙවල් එක මත. හරිද? ඔයාලට සිම් ඒ කියන්නේ තේරුම් ගන්න අමාරු නම් සර්ෆේස් ලෙවල් තමයි යන්නේ. තේරුණාද? So therefore you have a responsibility, study and come. Study and come. Right? You have the notes in financial reporting. Did you cover associate එකක් දාලා ගණන් හදුවද? Then නැත්නම් subsidiary and the parent විතරද? Who did pay the Rangajiva sir? Rangajiva sir. මොකද Rangajiva sir කරන්නේ associate කරන්නේ නැතුව. Associate කරන්නේ parent and subsidiary. හරි. ඒක associate දාලා අපි ගණන් හදන්න. මේ level එක. Associate දාලා හදන්න ඕනේ. Structures are parent acquire subsidiary, let's say 80%. Subsidiary acquire sub-subsidiary, 60%. Another 10% acquire directly. This type of structures. Everything is very complex. You have learned. Do I need to explain? Parent subsidiary. Do I need to explain again? Yeah, no. Division is better, eh? When you console, what are the adjustments? Intercompany transactions. Intercompany property plant equipment selling. It was said goodwill impairment. Goodwill impairment is based on what? Goodwill impairment karada? Goodwill impairment based on what? NCA calculation method. If NCA calculated fair value, different accounting treatment. If NCA is calculated at proportionate value on net asset, different accounting treatment. හරි මතකද ඒක? ඒතකොට දැන් අමතක ඇති. This within this week you need to go through and come. Right? Don't worry, I will be giving small revision. ඊට පස්සේ අපි complex 7 එක කතා කරමු. හරි? console එකේ පළවෙනි ගාන complex console එකක් තමයි දෙන්නේ. around 40 marks. Around 40 marks. හරි ඒක I decide whether parent, subsidiary and associate joint venture එහෙම දෙනවද? Parent, subsidiary, subsidiary plus associate and joint venture. So that is based on your performance. Right? You should know the fundamentals. Correct? Notes තියෙනවද? You have notes. The notes තියෙනවද? ඒක අපි එහෙම කරමු ලබන සතියේ සතිපට්ඨාන පොත්වල ටික කතා කරමු. Before winding up, group assignment. How many members do you have existing group? How many members in the group? 5. 5 to 6. How many students in total? 16. 60. 69. Virtually another one. It's recorded. Sometimes possible. Right, me mind. හිතනවා බලනවා පස්සපත්. සමහරවිට අනිත් ෆ්ලෙක්සිබල් වෙන බලන අවස්ථා තියෙනවා. කියලා ලකම 30ක් ගාව පාක්යක් කරලා 35 කරලා පාස් වෙන අවස්ථා තියෙනවා. right? ඒ මහා ගොඩක් දෙන්නේ නැහැ ලකුණු දෙකයි දෙන්නේ ලකුණු 28ක් ඉස්සෙල්ලා නැහැ. මහාකයක්. හැබැයි චාර්ටර්ඩ් වල ලකුණු 40 තමයි කියන්නේ කියලා. 49 වලට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ 49 කියන්නේ fail. 49 කියන්නේ fail. ඒක පොලිසි එක මේන්ටේන් කරන්න ඕනේ. දැන් ඉතින් වෙබ්සයිට් එකේ 60ක් විතර ෆේල් කියලා. දැන් කවුද හිතන්නේ? 60ක් විතර ෆේල් වුණා කියන්නේ. මොකද දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඒකට බෝඩ් එකට කම්ප්ලේන්ට් කරනවා එහෙම කරලා ඊළඟ පාර මම උගන්වන්නේ දැන් මේක තමයි. Kicked off by the board. එහෙනම් members we have bargaining power. Fail can fail තමයි. close කරන්නේ නැහැ. පිළිලොට කිව්වේ. පිළිලොට කිව්වේ සමහරවිට එවනවා මේක පාස් කරන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා බලන්න කියලා. ඩිටෙක්ෂන් වගේ ආපහු මේ ළමයි සෙට් එකක් ඉන්නවා. එහෙම එවනවා. ඉතින් ආපහු ඉතින් ඒක දෙන්න පුළුවන් උපරිම දෙනවා. ගොඩක් රට MBAs වල මොරටු MBA මාර්ක්ස් රිලීස් කරා මට පේපර්ස් 9ක් ඉවර දුන්නා අපෝ මේ ආපෝ රීකන්සිඩර් කරන්න මොනවද චේන්ජස් තියෙනවද මට මොනවද විශ්වාසද කියලා බලන්න වගේ එවන්නේ හරි කියන්නේ කියන්නේ පාස් කරපා කියලා ඒක තමයි කියන්නේ නමුත් ඒක එහෙම ඒ ලෙවල් එකට නැත්තම් පාස් කරන්නේ නැහැ අපෝ ඊළඟ රිපීට් දාන්න ඕනේ lecture දෙන්නේ නැති වුණා වගේ තමයි ඉතින් fail වෙන්නේ. හරි කොහොමවත් මේ group assignment එකක් කරන්න ඕනේ. 5 members okay 60 ඉන්නවනම් 12ක් නේ group set වෙන්නේ. right what you need to do is you need to analyze financial statements. You should download 2 annual reports. Write down the instructions. You should download 2 annual reports and write the instruction. Are you? Instructions. Download 2 annual reports. from two different industries, not the same industry. Because there are 6 students, 6 members. So වැඩ තියෙනවනේ එතකොට කරන්නේ 6 තියෙනවා එතකොට තුන් දෙනා මොකද කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ බෙදා ගන්න පුළුවන් එක්කෙනෙකුට 3යි හරි I would emphasize disclosures of accounting standards. Disclosures of accounting standards. Right? Let's say you have selected a bank. Now, what is the main standard in a bank, particularly? Financial instruments. SLFRS 7. So SLFRS 7 is financial instrument disclosures. There is a standard checklist, disclosure checklist of the risks and all. Then you should know what are the disclosures to be made available. Then you can compare. What are the actual disclosures that they have provided. Right? You should identify the gaps. In these two companies. In terms of disclosures. Right? I would ask you to identify 6 standards. Either like a group again. 6 standards identify standards standards higher analyze in terms of disclosure. Again, any standard. I don't have any issue. Any standard. Standards higher with that. Whether industry company I didn't make it. Download AK standard disclosures. Did you understand? Again, group question you have to have discussion among members. Standards higher disclosure available. Did you understand? Standards the insurance industry insurance done that. That is new. That's a challenging task, but do it. Right? Do it. How did it? Two different industry got to they may be us. Nature discourse risk then main companies John Keels select John Keels standards financial instruments LK 16 on a disclosures LK 2 on a disclosure. John Keels. Water plantation. Plantation एक गंडा मोड़ है एक disclose कराने तो ये नेपाल है मगर एक plantation ने तो LK 41 में disclosure जिससे आगे ने एक ने पाला इस बस दाव हमारे विविध standards हायर करना ना हम कहमती हमारे financial instruments बगाता कमान ने तो financial instruments data अभी हैमर ग्रुप पे करना फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट का अनिवार्य करना SLFRS 7 मास्क SLFRS 7 मास्क हम कंपनी ना तो कंपनी है एक ने फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स कराना होता है Did you understand? That is a requirement. ग्रुप पे देखिए SLFRS 7 कराना අප group එකේම දෙන්නේ එතන කරනවා. SLFR7. Did you understand? හරිද? Same thing different වෙන්න පුළුවන්. SLFR7 විතරයි same. SLFR7 විතරයි same වෙන්නේ. හරිද? එතකොට මේ ඔක්කොම standards ටික cover වෙනවා නම් shock disclosure. We have to have presentation. Presentation 10 minutes. 5 minutes question. Q&A. 10 minutes presentation. All 6 people should present. Or else, I would decide 3 people would present. Balance 3 available for Q&A. Do you understand? ඒක මම මේ 3 දෙනා තෝරන්නේ randomly. Random selection. හරි random selection. ඒතර 6 දෙනාම එකට set වෙලා ඉන්න හොඳට ප්‍රසන්ට් කවුරුද දැන් මම කියනවා ඔයා ප්‍රසන්ට්. ඔයා. මග නවත්තනවා. right ඔයා ඇති ඔයා කරන්න. සමහර අය කටපාඩම් කරන් ආව flow එක යනවා තියාගන්න. ඒ අර ඒක මේ වෙන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම අර කටපාඩම් කරන් ඉන්න එපා. හරිද? ඒ ටික තියෙන්න ඕනේ ඔයාගේ ඇඟ ඇතුලේ. තේරුණාද? එතකොට if you are not doing, if you are not contributing, difficult to present that. හරිද? ඇත්තටම මේක tough විදියට කරන්න හේතුව මොකද්ද? To improve your skills. And if you do this activity, you are group working, team working, decision making, then report writing, presentation skill, so we can test many skills. Then download කරපු මේක analyze කරන්න, standard එකක් කියවන්න, create කරනවා ගොඩක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. සති කීයක් වුණාද? How many weeks? 2 weeks? Weeks? From today 2 weeks. Group report and presentation. Individual marks are given. ඒ කියන්නේ group එකට සමාන ලකුණක් නෙමෙයි දෙන්නේ individual. නැත්නම් unfair නේ. එක්කෙනෙක් perform කරයි අනිත් එක්කෙනා perform නොකරොත් එහෙම group එකටම ලකුණු අඩු කරන එක හොඳ නැහැ. දැන් හරියට perform කරලා නැති කෙනා ලකුණු අඩු වෙනවා. තේරුණානේ? එහෙනම් හරියද? 2 weeks from today. 3 weeks? 3 weeks. Okay, 3 weeks. 3 weeks තියෙනවා semester එක ඉවර වෙන්න. කවදද නම් lectures cancel කරනවා? මාර්ච් වෙනකම්. මාර්ච් කවද මුලද? second week. මාර්ච් second week සති 6ක් විතර තියෙනවානේ. Okay. You have 3 weeks. Report structure එකක් එහෙම නැහැ. අර company එක දෙකක් නේ තෝරගන්නේ. ඔයාලා කරන දේ report එකේ include වෙනවා. Report structure would be, you know, the accepted structure. Executive summary, then the content page should be there. Group names of the group members, index numbers, general structure, scientific structure. And at the end of the report, you have to have conclusion. What is the conclusion? The analysis again, passe aar kiyan pula monawada a company dekක පිළිබඳ වෙන වෙනම conclusion දෙකක් දාන්න පුළුවන්. Then, or you have to have discussion. Individually කරන්න එපා. හොඳද? Alright මම මේක කරන්න මම මේක ඒක එහෙම කරලා ඔයාලා discuss කරන්න. You should discuss. ඒකයි එහෙම කරොත් විතරයි මේක ultimate අර මට ඕන ප්‍රතිඵල එන්නේ. Right? You understand? So individual assignment එකක තෝනද? ඔන්නේ මේ group එක ඔයාලා individually ඉතින් මේක සමහර free riders ලා ඉන්න පුළුවන් නේ. කෙනෙක් දෙන්නේ කරනවා අනිත් අය නොකර ඉන්නවා. මොනවද අහුවෙනවද නේ? ඒක අපි mid term test එකක් වගේ ඕනනම් කරන්නත් පුළුවන් MCQs question paper. ඒකත් අපි සති ඒකටත් ready වෙන්න මේ mid term test එකක් MCQ ඒක පන්ති කාමරේම පැයකින් කරලා ගන්න. MCQ about 20-25 questions on standards. That is on within 2 weeks. That is on within 2 weeks, huh? Right? A will make from LK 16, LK others again while calling to make a traction. They were LK 16, LK 2. They are tested. Make to gun for it. I am currently මේක වෙන්නොත් මේ semester එකේ පන්න ගන්න එක නෙමෙයි. semester එක පන්නන්න නෙමෙයි තියෙන්නේ. required knowledge, required technical skill. ඒතර ඔයා ඉය තියෙනවා බලන්න. ඒවල එයිනේ. නේද? නැත්නම් මේක මොකද මේකේ උගන්නන ටික මේකේ කරොත් එහෙම ඊළඟ මාසයේ මොකක්වත් මතක නැහැ. තේරුම්ද? So this is continuous journey. So within 2 weeks you'll be having midterm test. Within 3 weeks you should submit your report. Then we set the dates and time slots for the presentation. So there are a lot of activities to be done. Disclosures for other entities will come and touch group of financials. Interesting. Alright, touch SLFRS 12. When they are presenting, everyone should be here. Workshop so disclosures practical level. Present කරනකොට හොඳට අහන් ඉන්නවනේ විතරයි. ඒකෙන් ප්‍රශ්නත් අහනවා මහ විභාග. ඇදලේ නේද? ඒක තමයි lecture එක. කියන workshop එකක් කියන්නේ. So you are the teachers. අනිත් අය වැදගත් දේවල් note down කරගන්න. ඇදලේ නේද? මේ ප්‍රශ්න අහනවා විභාග. තමයි real ඔයාලම ගන්න company එකම ප්‍රශ්න අහනවා ඒකේ extracts ටිකක් දාලා ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න පුළුවන් විභාග. Right, okay, thank you very much.